And we're live.
We are live, I think.
We
It's
believe.
been one of those nights already.
I can't find my webcam. Mitch has got audio stuff going on. But, anyways, welcome to a new edition of the Scruffy City Aquatics live stream. We're continuing a series on So You Want to Buy a Tank. And before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to the replay crew.
Hmm.
All of you who more than likely are catching this part while everybody else is getting the notification and joining in. Y'all are great. We see the comments. They're awesome. Enjoy
Hmm.
talking to y'all, seeing the comments, and just say hey if you don't normally, and we'll, talk to you. Hey, cat's biting me right now. I'm a little, if I look at something else besides her, she gets a little jealous.
Yeah, I managed to convince the dog to go in the bedroom. We'll see how long that lasts. It's funny, every night he will go to bed and sleep on the bed until I go to bed when I put him up. But on Tuesday nights, he's got to be in here for some reason. He
He
knows.
knows.
Yeah. We've got some people in the chat already. Before we say hi to everyone, we do just want to thank you, everyone, for checking out the replay and do comment. That does help the channel to have comments on the videos and on the live stream. So I appreciate that. And yeah, let's jump into these hellos because we've got quite a few rolling in now.
Yeah. We've got the Nano Aquarium guy saying hi. If the tank is small, it can go anywhere.
Just about.
I'm going to tend to agree with the Nano guy, though, for the most part. I might dabble in it, but we've also got Big Shrimpin, a cat climbing on me at the moment. Welcome, Big Shrimpin. We got the Zen Ginger. Thank you for joining. Good to
Hmm.
see you, Zenny. Scuba Steve Vlog. Welcome. Gabriel's Glass Boxes. Good to see you. Nancy B in Tennessee. I hope you're still able to make the May meeting. That would be fantastic. Let's see. Who else have we got? Sky Dancer
Hmm.
saying hello. Thanks for joining. Hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Muppet929.
Making the live stream tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out the replays when you can't make it, but we're glad to have you, Muppet.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Um, the replay crew is not forgotten.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Mark Sturlson. And who else? I think that catches it up.
Yeah, it jumped on me. I believe you're right, though. Everyone's saying their hellos. That's cool. I love it. I love saying hello to everyone in the chats when I'm in live stream. So I love seeing everybody say hello while they're
Mhm.
here. Man, it feels like it's been weeks since we talked.
Yes, it has been busy. I think we've both been busy. It's
Yeah,
it has been a week. The swap feels like it's been months ago.
it does,
And
doesn't it? Isn't that
it was
crazy?
two weeks ago. We were sitting there at work today and we were like, is it it's
It,
Tuesday, isn't it? It feels like a Friday or something.
I think the swap was just a little over a week ago. It wasn't this weekend. It
Oh
was the weekend
wow.
before.
Yes. Wow, I'm even getting it mixed up. It feels like
It
forever
does.
ago.
Hey, I agreed with you for a moment, and then I was like, "Wait, I don't think that checks out. I don't think that's right."
Nancy B
Nancy
says she's
B says
still
she's going to be there
planning.
planning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went out shopping for pond stuff today. That's
All
awesome. I'm
right.
really excited for this next meeting. It's going to be on outdoor tubbing,
Yeah.
and we've got one speaker confirmed. We may potentially have an additional, somebody else adding on to the whole outdoor pond scenario.
Awesome.
Really cool. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome. Yeah. So in our instead of a May meeting, we are touring CFI
Yeah.
Conservation Fisheries Incorporated. Our friend of the show, Derek Wheaton, works there, and Derek's been on the show a couple of times on the live stream. And we're working it out to where we're going to have a few personal tours. We're going to have everybody who comes is going to be able to go on a tour and check things out there at Conservation Fisheries. They've told us they are their most stacked in May, like the most species, animals. are in the building in May, so that's why we're planning on going then. And then in June, because I got to go ahead and start plugging this. I haven't done it yet. In June, Ben Ochart is joining us. He will be the speaker at the club. So excited about that, except for the
Yeah.
fact that I won't be in town.
Oh no.
Yeah, I should have known ahead of time that that was the week, and it just dawned on me. I'm horrible at those things, and I was like, which our this trip was planned way out. It's actually something with family that we're going to be out doing something. I just won't be home that
Yeah.
day, so I'll catch it on the
Yeah.
video though. We've got a pretty good video team, uh,
Yeah.
and I'll get to enjoy it once it's up.
Yeah, that's something I do have to commend the East Tennessee Club on. They do a fantastic because I can't make a lot of meetings because I'm a couple hours away. I always watch them on YouTube, and I feel like I'm almost there. They do a fantastic job of capturing the speakers' information, the
Yeah.
overall atmosphere that the East Tennessee Club has, which is a fantastic atmosphere of just community and learning. So
And
huge shout out to
more times than not, you get to see me be an idiot. So I'm pretty good at wrecking things. I was going to point out, Muppet says I got to do better at leaving a comment after the replay, though. I did it once or twice. I can do better. We all do that, Muppet. Don't feel bad about that. I appreciate any comment that we get, of course. But there's plenty of times that I turn on YouTube and hit the subscriptions and have stuff start playing while I'm driving, and I'm not watching. I'm
yeah.
just listening. Especially live streams. Most live streams you can listen without watching. And of course, if I'm not if I don't make it to my destination before that live stream's over, or forget, just like you said, then I may not like or comment on it. So we all do that, but thank you for pointing it out, because I'm sure it's a good reminder. We all do that.
Yeah.
What
On
I
that
dropped.
note, I watch most of my YouTube, on. Oh, am I still here?
You're still here. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you not hear me?
That pause scared me for a second. I can hear you. Um, on that note, I watch most of my YouTube videos, on TV through my uh, the app or whatever. Can you comment
Yeah.
through the app? I've
You
not found
can't,
out
but you can
how.
like them. Yeah, you can like
Okay,
it. You can't comment.
that makes sense because I tried to search and I was like, I just can't figure out how to comment through the TV. Sometimes I'll
Hmm.
pull up my phone and go to the same video and I'm like, hey, that was awesome.
Yeah. And Mark says, I find it hard at times to comment on a replay. What do you comment about when the stream hits many for reaching subjects? And that's true. It is a lot of times what I do if I am sitting at home, and a lot of times when I pull up YouTube at home, I'll stream to my TV with my phone, and that allows me to have the comments up, the
Ooh.
comments, and even the live. Sometimes I'm even paying attention to the live chat. Just depends on what's going on. And if I'm doing that, a lot of times I can comment, and I'll comment as I hear things. And it's funny because you'll comment on something, and then it'll be addressed. You're like, oh, well, obviously I didn't get that far. I saw. Where did it go? Liquid Zoo's here. Only Fins. What's up?
Welcome, Liquid Zoo.
Welcome, Matt. I had somebody, a friend of mine at work, who is a YouTuber. He's been YouTubing for a very long time. Has a very popular channel in a totally different field, totally different subject. But he was telling me he was watching some people talk about starting different channels, and they were talking about starting an aquarium channel, and they were going to call it OnlyFins. And I was like, nope, that's taken. Yeah, sometimes I watch one on one TV and one on a computer. I've done that. I've been editing on the computer, and I'll have something on and something on the TV, and have be editing too. And it's like, I know I'm not really paying attention, but if something grabs my attention, it'll draw me away from what I'm doing. So we were talking about the week being crazy.
Yeah.
This weekend I had a busy weekend. I've got a video that's is being edited. It's in my editing studio. Um, it is on setting up the 20 long. It is up and running. I think I had some community posts that I put up about it. It's going well. Everything's great. Eco complete. No cycle. Fairly like this tank is new. The only thing that I put in this tank that was cycled was the plants. The plants came from existing tanks. I mean, obviously I put in some stem plants too, but I put in a bunch of crypts and some floating plants from another tank that I have. But the substrate, the filter, everything. Well, I guess the heater came out of an existing tank, but everything else brand new, and it's not cycled. I'm not getting a ton of nitrates. I mean, I guess I am seeing nitrates, but I'm also putting in fertilizer, so I don't know that it's cycled. But I'm not seeing any ammonia or nitrite. I did not see nitrate before I started dosing because I did give it a day. But it's going well, and like I said, that video will be going out soon. It does have some of the setup. You'll see some mistakes that I made because it wouldn't be a video of mine without mistakes because there are plenty, and I don't hide them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that one. That was it looks great so far. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, hopefully things go well with it. It's my first time using an aqua soil. Eco completes an aqua soil, right? I don't remember what differentiates that. I know it's not. I know it's inert, but it has the ability to absorb.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would classify it as an aqua soil. I would kind of make a couple distinctions within aqua soils.
Yeah.
You've got your more dirt like, I call it dirt like your fluvial stratums, and you've got
hmm
your clay. But yeah, I would call it an aqua soil. It is one of my favorite planted tank substrates.
It was really cool. So what was funny is you and other people that I spoke with said pour that liquid into your tank, like
Hmm.
everything goes in. And when I was talking about Eco Complete online, I got a lot of unsolicited uh, tips to make sure you rinse it well because that stuff will cause a spike. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to these people. I don't know them. And because the people I knew said to pour it in there, so I just poured it in there, and absolutely no spikes, none at all. So if anybody's wondering if you've ever considered using Eco Complete and you don't know um, whether or not to rinse it, it says on the bag. On the bag, it says don't rinse it. It says just pour it in. It's ready to go, and that's what I did. And there was a lot of liquid in there. Um, but yeah, everything seems to be going
Yeah,
well. The plants already, most of them already had great roots on them, so hopefully things take off. I have tomorrow. I always do fertilizers on Monday and Wednesday, so I'll check it again tomorrow and see if it needs more fertilizer. I'm trying to keep it around 10 or more uh, on the nitrates. Not trying to push it to 20 yet.
yeah, yeah. I always like to start out a little bit. Call it I'm driving through the school zone versus driving on the interstate. With
Yeah,
with the tank, I'm taking it easy. I'm not hitting the gas just yet. I'm giving them the right
right.
environment. But
Yeah,
as soon as I start seeing everything, kind of growing and well, I'm like, I'll ramp it up a little bit. I'm on the on ramp. I'm about to get on the interstate, and
yeah.
then once it really starts growing, and I'm cruising.
Okay, I want to ask you something, but before I do, Zenny's going to take issue with you. Eco
I
Complete is more like gravel. I would not call it soil in any context. And she's not talking with this attitude, I guarantee it. But that's just me, maybe. LOL.
no, and I would agree with you.
Yeah,
Except for in my brain, I just think of gravel as kind of a smooth,
yeah,
uh, not necessarily smooth, but it's not it's not a porous media.
porous. Yeah,
Call it. This is more of a. The reason I lump it into aqua soil only for actually, I would probably pull it out of aqua soil and into planted tank substrates.
okay.
Call it. Um, and then have aqua soils be their own class of the volcanic
Actually,
based, or
soil.
the actual soil more akin to dirt.
So, so
Um,
Isn't Eco Complete volcanic based though?
It's basalt, I think.
Oh,
Volcanic
that's right.
basalt,
That's
maybe.
right.
I there. Yeah, that's a whole. I need to do some more reading on that.
Yeah, Zen
But
says, I mean, it kind of does technically contain some volcanic soil, but it's so rocky, I guess I just don't call it that.
yeah, no, I would agree because the soils you can really just take between your fingers and
Because it's
squish.
not that,
You're
because
not
that's
doing
not
that
what I
with
wanted.
Eco Complete. But the reason I say it's one of my favorite substrates is just because of the sheer longevity. It doesn't
Yeah,
break down. It always will be able to store nutrients. I think of it as a more of a long long term investment
yeah, absolutely.
as
Yeah,
not
Aqua
versus
Gardens.
tropica or a fluval stratum. It's going to be more of a 6 to a year type of soil that you really get the best growth out of, and then you got to really start supplementing more.
Yeah. And I really like this. I'm going to leave it to my video to talk about some of the mistakes that I made. And, but I'm considering getting some to put in the 75, and that'll be a big change. And I'm even starting to consider maybe slowly buying some up and keeping it and totally swap out the 75. I don't know that I want to do that, but at the same time, I really want to do that. So, but that and a light would have to be, I don't know, maybe the light would be able to handle it. But yeah, Tennessee Fish Keeper, we're doing well. Hope you're doing well, and I'm sure everyone in the chat will chime in that they are doing well as well.
Yeah, welcome. And
So
also, I don't
go ahead.
welcome to Aqua Garden Zen.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was just saying
Definitely
welcome to
basalt.
Aqua Garden Zen. I mean, so getting back to it, you said you had a question.
Yeah. So you got a betta as well. They're giant bettas, aren't they?
Yes.
They're bigger than the typical betta that I see. And the is yours still white? Your
Yes.
betta?
So
Yeah.
far, I'm not a beta expert in any means. This is I don't even wouldn't say that I have any betas. They're my girlfriend's betas. So
Gotcha.
I believe it's a platinum. I'm going to call it a platinum or a white half moon. So
Yeah.
it's not huge. It's not a big one. It's about the same size as the other betas we have.
Okay. All right. This one's bigger than the ones I typically see around in the stores, but I don't know if that's just maybe its age or what. But he is turning blue.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was very white with a pink undertone.
Hmm.
But he's changing, and we love it. Paisley's excited about the change.
Yeah, this guy is still almost. He's got a pink call it hue to him, but he's primarily, especially his fins are basically white with a little bit of blue iridescence, I guess you would
Yeah,
call it.
yeah, I
Um,
noticed that. Yeah.
while we're real quick before I forget, while we're talking about the betas that we got at the swap, I want to give a shout out to MB Betas who was at the
Hmm.
swap and we got the betas from. Really nice guy. I enjoyed talking to him, but just has extremely very high quality fish.
Yeah, his name's Ben. I met him at Aquaticon, and so we've been
Mhm.
talking. And he had received a huge shipment of fish, and he was planning on waiting for a show. And I told him what we were doing, and he decided to come on. And he set up at the swap, and he had a good day. He said it was a great day. He said I'll come back anytime.
Yeah,
So that
that's
was really
awesome.
cool.
I think Cheryl helped him out quite a bit with the
Yeah,
moving some betas. I love them. They do betas very well. They breed a lot of
awesome.
them. Dauber does, and they've got one of our betas is actually from some of the ones that they have bred.
Yeah,
Phenomenal quality.
yeah.
They
I'm going to
really
go
care
ahead
about
and
their fish.
spoil it because I honestly don't know that there's going to be a video on it. But I don't know that things are going well with the better rescue.
Mhm.
He's not eating, so he looks okay. I'm keeping the water's doing fine, the tank's doing fine, but I'm not seeing him eat. As a matter of fact, I was cleaning out food, from earlier today, and so not sure how that's going to go, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up having to get another one for my for my oldest
Mhm.
daughter, and I'm hoping some of MB Betta's fish are still at Aquatic Marine because they bought what he didn't sell at our swap.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, rescue bettas can be a very sad thing sometimes just because
Yeah.
you really can't, they're already in a very bad situation and it's a lot
Hmm.
of times very hard to recover from that. It's possible, but
Yeah.
it's hard because
Well,
you're optimistic about it and
yeah. I added a heater. I actually had to add two heaters because it kept dropping down at night. We keep it kind of cold in here,
Mhm.
and I just had the little preset heater. So I added a second heater, and I've been watching the temperature, and it's staying right where I want it. Within around 75 to it does I don't it doesn't light up the 80, and I've got my regular thermometer in there too that I'm checking. But the tank has a thermometer on the side. It's actually a little easier to see, and I keep comparing it to mine to see how it does. Um, but yeah, the temperature's been staying up there at a great place. And the first day or the second, we didn't feed him the first day. The second day, he did eat a little bit, but he's not eaten since.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that goes. But it looks good, but just not eating and stays hidden most of the time. I really need to put him in a different tank. I think maybe some more room. I don't know if that will help, but I've got to do something with the 10 gallon because I put some stir by Corey's in there. I picked up three this weekend. They looked too good. I couldn't pass up on them.
They
They were
are hard
swimming
to
all over the
pass up
place.
on. Real quick, let's go ahead and say hey to TN Fishkeeper, Mountain
Yeah,
Greenery, Silver Creek Aquatics. How you doing? Hope you're doing all right. And there was one. Oh, JT is in the chat. Welcome, JT. Hope you're doing
JT.
good.
Here we go. Zen Ginger says, if you have a betta with cellophane genes, they can morph, and I've had many that developed almost candy or koi patterns. Platinum don't typically, at least from my experience and knowledge. Yeah, my daughter picked this fish out, and it was not presented to us as a platinum, but it was white with a pink under, like it. You could definitely see the pink. You still can. It still has that pink undertone, but it's getting a lot of blue, both on its body and fins, and some red. There's a few patches of red to the point that when it first started popping up, I was like, "Oh no, how's this thing hurt itself?" Trying to figure it out. But as I looked, I could tell it was the coloring of the fish coming out. But we're excited to see what it will look like. He does keep a lot of koi and Nemo bettas, so I'm not sure what blue koi. I think it is maybe. I don't know bettas. I need to. I know how to take care of one, but I don't know how to how they're classified
Yeah, I'm not.
divided up.
I'm not huge or not. I'm not going to say I'm not huge into it. I just haven't been as
Yeah,
into it as the whole their genetics and everything. They're very cool. I would
yeah,
really like to keep some of the wild types
yeah.
someday.
They are much more like a pet though than just a
Yes.
school of fish. It's funny how different that one betta is from the endlers that are in that tank, which she's
Yeah.
decided she doesn't know that she's going to keep. She's fallen in love with dwarf rainbow fish, and I'm looking into it. I've been told they can go in there. The bed is doing phenomenal with the other fish, by the way. No
That
problem
is awesome.
whatsoever. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I told her I'll look into it. We got to give it time. We just set this tank up. We can't keep throwing things in there. And I'm hoping that given some time, once the tank fills in, I can put some green neocardenias in there. I mean, I realize I'm going to lose some, but uh,
Yeah. I will. On that note, I was very shocked when we first got the beta from Cheryl at one and Cheryl and Dauber at one of our last club meetings. We didn't have, we had a tank that was originally for a betta, but it became a shrimp tank. I was like, oh, we'll put it in the shrimp tank. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll
mhm,
have shrimp still. I have seen shrimp babies as of
yeah,
recent, and they are still alive. So I'm like, maybe we get lucky and we can keep some shrimp with it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to. It's funny. I messed up all my plans by adding those Corys to the 10 gallon because I'd planned on taking the 10 gallon down or just making a quarantine tank again and setting up that 3 gallon for my blue diamonds.
Mm.
But now I've got a 10 gallon with fish that are going to be in there, a few weeks. Um, so I don't know. I guess they'll stay in the 25 a little bit longer. We got a lot of conversation going on. It's really cool. Keep
Yeah,
Keeping Aquatics is here. Evening. Ooh, Aqua Gardens Inn made fish tacos. You like fish tacos?
I do. They're very
I
good.
do too. I do too. Shrimp tacos too. Shrimp tacos are good.
Yeah.
Keep Keeping says the shrimp tank I wanted became a betta tank. I'm scared of trying shrimp. Yeah, I understand that. I do. I'm really impressed with how this betta. Like when I first added the endlers, he did kind of flare around and chase just a little bit when they first went in,
Mhm.
but it was not long before he just started ignoring them, and he pays no mind to them now. I've seen them right up against him, and he doesn't even pay any attention to them. As a matter of fact, he's all over the place enjoying that tank. I think he enjoys having others in there moving around.
Keep
Oh,
Keeping
keep keeping.
says they have a community tank with a betta.
Yeah.
What all do you have in that community tank? Because I've been interested in maybe trying that. I know it can go either way. It's really just up to the temperament of that specific betta. But also Nancy B says she has one ram's horn that's been in her pea puffer tank for 4 or 5 days now. That guy is a trooper.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be. That's for sure. Staying in the right place, staying out of sight. Well, let's jump into our topic for the evening. Of course, chat. We'll continue to interact with you. It's about 9:30, so we don't have a lot to cover on this part four of So You're Going to Buy an Aquarium. Um, Zinginger says, "Get cherry neos. I swear they can live through anything," and that's what I hear. That's why I want the green. I've considered the green because there's a few red plants going in that 20 long, and I'm thinking the green would look good in there, but they can hide in the greenery.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. And I've already got red and I've got blue, so why not put green in something? Okay, very very simple. A male betta, 5 coolie loach, and a mystery snail. Still planning on increasing the stock, but for now, nice and easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
and
see
that's what I'm planning on doing is, I've got the right now the endlers, but she's saying she wants the dwarf rainbow fish. Um, so we'll see. But still, there's snails in there. Uh, I did not stop snails from going in there, so I'm going to assume there's snails in there with the plants that I moved over. And there's also duckweed, I'm sure. But eventually, I'll add some shrimp. Oh, I saw my chat is just jumping all over. Oh, it's because people are commenting. Thank you. Um, the thing is, it's about personality. That one is super chill. My other boy is a jumper, and I don't trust him. And my baby female needs to be tested on personality, and that's what I've heard. They're not all temperamental. They're not all. Oh, the tank's going to sleep, so we'll remove it. Um, Nancy B says, I have emerald green coals from TGOE. I haven't seen them list their non coal greens. Yeah, that's true. I've seen that too. I have. And I don't know that I've seen greens in the area, except I know Rob, a friend of ours, Rob, bought greens from the Garden of Eden at one point. And I don't know if they were the coals or not. They were at Aquaticon.
Hmm. Yeah, I have never seen um, greens in our area. It's mostly you'll see your reds, your blues, your oranges and yellows, and then that's about the extent. You'll get some reallys every now and again, but not no greens that I have seen. If I
Yeah.
saw them, I would get them immediately.
Yeah, aquatic marines keeping reallys. They're having them regular, both red and orange, and blue, red, orange, and blue. Um, JT says my blue dream population that I got in December at the December ETAA Dirty Santa is finally taking off, finally starting to take off. That's awesome to hear. Mine are in a guppy tank, and I have new blue dream shrimp, but it's not taken off because of where they're at. I have given them lots of structure and places to hide from the guppies, so who knows? I may go in there and start moving things around and find that I have a whole lot more than I think I have. But I do always see them when I go to the tank. There's never a time I go to that tank and I don't see them. The Nano Aquarium guy says, talking about the Garden of Eden, uh, they list them every once in a while. I got some, and they are nice. And good evening, Amisa. Nancy B says the last time I was at Aquatic Critter, they had I don't know why Critter came out like that. They had more shrimp than I have seen before. That's cool.
Yeah,
Shrimp's big. Everybody's doing shrimp.
I need to get by there. It's been a couple weeks, maybe a month or so since I've last been by the critter. It's a good spot.
Yeah, we need to let the Garden of Eden know we're all looking for green shrimp.
Yes, I feel like
Everybody's
they might have a wait list on me.
It might be. They might. See, they go live on Thursday. Is it Thursday? Monday. They go live on Mondays. I missed it. So keep keeping. Ask what is the beta's name. So the beta was named Coconut, but the beta is no longer plain white. So the beta's name is Coco. That's East Tennessee for critter. Yeah. No, it was just a stutter. All right. On topic. Let's try it for a moment. So, talking about part four, we decided we would talk about where to put an aquarium. The last couple of live streams where we talked about this topic, I'm going to yawn, y'all. It's been a long week, but it's going to happen. I'm trying to hold it back because I don't want to yawn on my live stream. I mean, the number will drop to like 5 when I start yawning. I wouldn't hang around for a live stream where someone's yawning. Monday, halfway through Steam Fight. Yeah, that's when it is. Um, JT says as soon as I started adding calcium and argonite rock, they started breeding. Got to keep the water hard. Yeah, I keep calcium in mine too. Um, let's see. We talked about what's essential, and then the week following that, which was part three, I talked about what may be essential. Here it comes. Oh, I feel better. Oh, it's so much better not holding that in. Um, um, keeping aquatics again. The nano. Yeah, I'll let y'all in on a hint. If you keep it nano, you can put it almost anywhere. Um, so the first thing we want to talk about when talking about where to put an aquarium is the weight. You got to consider the weight. You got to
Yeah,
think about how much this tank is going to weigh. Whether it's a 2.5 gallon and you're going to put on a little flimsy shelf that's really not going to hold anything. Don't do it. Um, or a 210 that's going to take up a lot of floor space, and you got to consider will first of all, will the floor hold it? And I don't know that I ever really thought of that because I've always had a slab. I think every house I've lived in since I was little has had a slab. My dad, we had a old farmhouse, and I remember it had a crawl space. But every other home that I remember living in, other than trailers, have had slabs. So um, didn't really put a lot of thought into it until I considered putting one in the upstairs of our condo, and I was like, maybe not. And of course, I was thinking about a little tank, so it was probably fine. Was not a big deal. But I think it's depending on the amount of substrate you use with the water and everything. You're looking at a about 10 pounds per gallon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
weight of water per gallon is 8.34
yeah.
pounds per gallon. So add in substrate, add in your, hardscape, be conservative with it, call it 10 pounds per gallon.
Hmm. Yeah.
10
So,
gallon tanks gonna weigh 100 pounds.
yep. Yeah, and that's not that's when you think about you see some of these tables that people put tanks on and they're hanging off of. That's another thing. Make sure it covers the entire bottom of your tank because the tank
Yes.
was designed to be supported all the way around. Um, well, so that's not true. You can just support it in certain places, but you can't support it in the middle. You need to be supporting it in the corners. I
Yeah,
think
if it's a
that's the
if it's
key.
a rim tank, bare minimum is support all the way around the edges. If it's a rimless tank, complete support under the entire thing. And
Yeah.
you want something sturdy because you think about it, and you have to think about this too. Is it in a high traffic area?
Yep.
If it's in a high traffic area, somebody walks by, bumps into it. If you've got a flimsy stand, you might have 10 to 100 plus gallons of water in your floor, not to mention your fish.
Yeah.
And I don't know
And
about you, but
glass.
I don't want to be picking through glass to find my fish.
Yeah. Yeah. And Amisa says that salt water weighs more. It's a good point.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how much more, but I have heard that. Muppet says I put steel beams for reinforcement in the basement under where the tank is. Didn't trust my house. And I mean, that's not a bad idea if you're able. The good thing is, a 4 foot tank or a 5 foot tank, it's spread out, should be spread out among a few beams. And, but you should check, you should have an idea of what your floor looks like.
Another yawn. People are leaving.
Oh, people are leaving. Oh, man.
For most tank sizes, you're gonna be fine with your floor. Anything above, call it 75 to 100 gallons, that's when I would probably start checking and making sure that your floor is all right. Um, but really, 10, those smaller tank ranges, I wouldn't think about the floor. I mean, think about it. Most of us, if not all of us, weigh over 100 pounds.
Yeah, a 10-gallon tank's not really one to be concerned with.
If I can walk over and jump up and down on the floor and nothing moves, I'm okay up to a large tank.
Right, right. But when you get to talking about those large tanks, when we're talking about a 75-gallon tank, that's a lot of weight.
Hmm.
Especially if you're thinking about putting it in an upstairs, you want to make sure you've got some structure underneath it. But
Definitely.
um, I mean, and even as I don't know, I don't know if a 70 how safe a 75 is. Um, without some sort of reinforcement. But definitely, once you get up to over 100 gallons, you need to really be thinking about where you're putting it.
Mm.
And not only that, like you said, not only the floor, but also what are you putting it on. A lot of these stands out there kind of scary when you look at them. And honestly, the secondhand stands, I don't know that I would use if it's your Petco or PetSmart stand and it's secondhand. I don't know that I could do it on a big tank. Um,
Yeah.
I think I'd be buying some 2x4s.
Yeah, I prefer in most circumstances just to build a stand. I mean, two befores, you're fine with basically as long
Hmm.
as it's done properly, really any tank size. I mean, wood is very strong. Where I get a little bit of concern is with the particle board, call it
Hmm.
stands. That's what I mean. You think about it, the stand that you have your tank on is going to get wet. There's
Yeah,
no there's no way around that. Particle board, once it gets wet, it'll start to separate and swell and just loses
right.
a lot of its integrity. So that's why I'm a little iffy about those stands with larger tanks.
Yeah. Well, when I got the 75, I put it on the stand that it came with, but right after putting it on there, I was like, I don't know about that, but I was impatient and I was like, okay, let's get this thing full. To the point that because I've had this tank now for a number of years. When I do the substrate, because it will eventually happen, but when I do the substrate, I'll probably build a 2x4 stand and put under it. Just because I'd feel much better having 2x4s underneath it than the
Yeah.
boards that are there, because it's like, 1x6s in a lot of this construction, that's underneath there. It's not all particle board; it is wood, but still, it's not a lot of wood, and it's probably plenty. I've even thought about reinforcing it at times, and I'm like, that's probably just asking for trouble. Um, I could see a board splitting and be like, oh no, now I've got to really get some stuff done. But yeah, you've got to consider where you're going to put it. Nano's talking about it is a bit cringe, but I find it funny when you see in Facebook the person that has a 55-gallon tank on two TV tray down. I'm
Oh
like,
man,
hey, it happens.
Facebook Marketplace, you will see some
Yeah,
just some. I want sometimes I want to message people and say, get that tank, drain it right now
yeah,
because you're about to have water in your floor. I don't want to buy the tank. I just don't want your floor to be full of water.
yeah, yeah. It's a scary thing, and especially when you think about, like, if that thing were to pop, think of what the force that's going to come pushing out of there. So, um, yeah, Nancy V says particle board is only good until it gets wet.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they do make me uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
JT says, when I was house hunting with my wife, we were looking for both an old house with charm for my wife and a live-in basement for an aquarium room for me. It was very challenging, but we found one in 2018. Um, yeah, I,
That's
I
awesome.
wish I had more space for more tanks. That's something I've tried to figure out. Um, I would love to do the fish shed out back. That's something that would be a fun project, especially for YouTube. I think it'd be fun to do. So I'm hoping that at some point that becomes a reality. But I won't lie, there's my house is pretty. It'd be a good setup for an addition on the backside, and I often think, man, it would be so much better if we had that space, because the entire house, the floor plan, everything's built around the living room. Everything connects to the living
Mhm.
room. It's a single story house, and so podcasting or doing YouTube, or even staying up and working on something, it's constantly bothering somebody. So to have a room off to the side, um, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Even more so than the fish room. But that's a lot, or a fish shed. But that's a lot bigger project. Although there's some things that would be easier.
Mhm.
Anyway, I would love
Yeah.
to have
That's
a basement. I don't.
to add on to that. That is incredible that you found a basement and a
Mhm.
house that fit for y'all, JT. We are in the process of looking at moving, and we've been. I mean, that's a big driver in our house selection. I'm trying to find something with a basement. If I do a basement, it might be get full blown fish room.
Fish room, yeah, be breeding Corys. Nancy B says, I have a basement, but I want to keep tanks in my living space where I can enjoy them. And that's another good point about where you're
Yeah.
going to put it. You want it to be in a place where you can enjoy it. Now, I will say that with the layout of this room, I had one place where I could fit a 75-gallon tank. And it's not the ideal space. It's a high traffic space. And the way the room is set up, nothing is facing it. Like, I don't have my back to it, but I have to turn to look at, like, it's not
Yeah.
like I can just sit and enjoy it. I have to turn and look at it. But I do sit turned watching it a lot. But so you want to keep that in mind. Like, can I put this size tank in a place where I can really enjoy it? Would I enjoy a 25-gallon over a 75 if it meant I could watch it more often? I mean, that's
Yeah.
possible. It could be true. I mean, a 110 sounds amazing, but if you have to keep it in a basement that you're not going to spend a lot of time in, will you really enjoy that tank? So
Mhm.
that's something to consider. Some of us enjoy having our basement or room off to the side where we can get away from everything and just enjoy the tanks. But at the same time, it's nice to have tanks in the living room where other people can enjoy them as well.
Or if you're like me and in a one bedroom apartment, you have tanks everywhere. I don't know if there's a single, well, I guess the closet. If I'm in the closet, I can't see a tank. But any
Yeah.
other location in my apartment, I can see at least one tank. Um,
I I have a plan. If I could ever convince my wife to let me move all of my stuff to the walk-in closet. I have a fish closet that I could start.
Yeah. I have a fish shelf.
A
And
fish shelf.
it's when I added that, it helped organizing so much because before that I had it all on a tote. I'd have to,
Yeah,
get on a step stool, bring the tote down.
yeah,
Um, but so yeah, that's definitely something you want to think about is where is this tank going to be in relation to where I'm going to be most of the time.
yep,
For example, I have a tank right next to the couch. I can look and watch the tank from the couch.
yeah,
And that's just, I mean, I'll sit there and I'll be hanging out. I'll be on the computer or something. I'll just be sitting there watching the tank. It's part of the way, people keep aquariums for a lot of different reasons. One of the main reasons I keep them is just because they're peaceful, they're
mhm,
relaxing, and I just enjoy watching them.
yeah. Me too. Amisa says, "Oh, I clicked on it. There it is. There are calculators online for the thickness, and number plywood, weight limits, including bracing
Hmm.
distance. I'm planning a fish wall and geeking out, and we all do. When I
Yeah.
think about building a rack of 20s, or when I think about the fish shed or an addition to the house or a fish closet or whatever it may be that I'm scheming on how I could make work, I do geek out on that. I've got sheets, I've got plans out there
Yeah.
where I've worked on it, and I'm going to come back to Zenny, but JT says we've got a whole club, and that's true. I just got to figure out how to fund it. I've got to figure out how to fund it because the fish shed, um, would begin with I've got to figure out where to put my lawn equipment if I take over the fish shed. So there's one, and then two, I've got to firm up the foundation a little bit and insulate it and run electricity to it, and it's a lot of work. It's a big project. It'd be fun though, and it would be fun to have the club come out and do some stuff. Um, Especially once we start setting up tanks and things. It would be a lot of fun. Um, so Zenny said, and I'm just seeing Nancy B's. Uh, I just saw Nancy B's comment, but Zenny says Facebook Marketplace is the Walmart of social media. It makes me question people in the future of America Daily, and it's true. There's some
Yes.
stuff on there that's like I don't know. Yeah, Zen Ginger. I live in Southeast Texas. If I had a basement, it would be an involuntary pool here at sea level. Yeah, yeah. No basements where you're at. Um,
And something else to think of, we've been talking about it's heavy. It's a lot there's a lot that goes into setting up an aquarium.
yeah,
So really do your planning on the front end and figure out where you want it to be because once you get it set up, you're not going to want to move it. It's a
yeah,
lot of work to move. A small aquarium, yeah, you can drain it and pick it up with, whatever you've got in it. But a larger aquarium, you've got to take everything out of it substrate, rocks, fish, plants, move the stand, and all that. And I don't know about y'all, but I really don't want to be doing that when I change I'm like, this tank's been set up for a week. I don't really like it here. Let's move it. That's not me.
no, no, I couldn't do it. Keeping says I've planned a whole fish story. Yes, I have too. I would be lying. I have. I'm not doing that any more than I would. Yeah, no stores. Um, ooh, Bill Meyer, welcome, Mayor. I seen a 200-gallon fall, and it was full of Pranus. They had 20 of them in there. When I got there, the fish were flopping on carpet. The problem was water went into the apartment below.
Oh
Ew,
no,
that's not good at all. That is a horror story for sure.
that is.
Um,
See, on that note, I am in an apartment, and I planned the apartment I have is on the ground floor and on a slab, and I
yeah,
did that. 90% of that was because of aquariums.
yeah. Mexicali Fish Keeper is here. What's going on? Good to see you, George. Uh, I'm sorry, an ad just came up for shrimp, mix 3 in 1, and they are unicorn and star shaped, and I'm just enjoying that. It's funny what pops up when you're online for sure. All right, so we talked about weight. We did talk about traffic already. That was one of the points that we had. You want to consider that, and especially someone said it. I think it was Amisa. kids, if you got kids or dogs,
Hmm.
here it comes. Wow, what a week! Is it Tuesday? Man,
It's only
um,
Tuesday.
it's only Tuesday. Long weekend, long week ahead. But yeah, you want to consider that. The 75, not in an ideal spot because of it is a high traffic place. Again, there was just nowhere else to put it. But that is the main reason why I try to keep it heavily planted. If I didn't have it so stocked full of plants, I think I would have more problem out of my fish. But my the yawn stream. Oh no! If I didn't have it so full of plants, I think I'd have more problems out of my fish. But my fish don't seem to mind that we come through. But
Yeah.
when I add new fish, you don't see them for a while. It takes a while before they get the they get the guts to stay out front.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're keeping, shyer or more timid species. You
Yep.
don't want to keep, your shyest fish aquarium right next to your front door.
Yep.
Because you're not going to see them. You want to keep that tank a little, off to the side, back in the corner to where you kind of got to look and see. They'll really feel comfortable to come out because we are 100 times bigger than our fish most of the time,
Yeah.
and we're scary. I mean, we look like a predator to them until they get used to the, a little slight tap on the glass and food coming, and they're like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I saw. Where did it go? Where did it go? Muppet. I tore out the carpet in my living room a few years ago. The carpet's still under the 90-gallon though. Cut around that bad boy. Yeah. Yep. I don't blame you there. I wouldn't move it. Once it's there, it's there. Um, All right. Also, we talked about furniture stands for the most part. Know what you're putting it on. The whole reason why it took a while to set up the 20-gallon, we've had it for over a month now, but I had to do some work in her room and then we were going to paint a dresser. We ended up being given a dresser. So the dresser that it's on is not the one I was going to paint. It's still in the garage, which means I have another tank or another tank. I have another dresser that a tank can fit on. Um, but you also want to consider drafts. And I think that's one that we don't think of often. If we're keeping a planted tank or probably even a salt tank, I mean, we're trying to keep the temperature up. A lot of us, especially if it's in a living space and not in a dedicated fish room, we're probably heating it with a heater. We're putting money into keeping that tank at a certain temperature. And when you put it directly below or directly next to a vent, you're only fighting against that air blowing on it when the air conditioner's on. Um, and then also when your heat's running, you've got a little bit of an issue that you might be heating that tank as well. And same thing with a door or a window. If you've got the tank next to an exterior door or even a window that you may open, you're creating drafts and or heat that may be impacting that tank.
Yeah.
Also lighting, because a lot of our doors and all windows have glass, so you've got sunlight coming through to some degree, and for most of us that just leads to algae. Oh, keeping. It's not popped up over here. Oh, there it is. What about windows? Heard it mentioned by a few fish keepers. Now I'm experiencing it. Algae explosions. Guess I should have heavily plant. Should just heavily plant it eventually. Yes, heavily plant
Mhm.
it. But yeah, the plants will like that sunlight if it's not getting
Yeah.
too much. It could still get too much.
Yeah, I've actually been dealing with that with the 120 I've set up at the office where I work. It's in a conference room that has 12, 13 windows maybe. So I mean, it is, you don't have to turn the lights on in there to see.
Right.
So what I've done is, and it may work different for everybody, is just cut down your lighting, your photo period from your
Mhm.
lights a little bit. I was getting, not on the plants so much, but on the glass. Every couple days, it would just go completely green, and I
Wow.
haven't had that happen with a tank before. So it's in a place where a lot of people see it. So I was cleaning it constantly. I cut down the lights by about an hour and a half. I've gone 2 weeks without cleaning the glass, and it's
Yeah.
so first cut down on your lighting, and then maybe look at your nutrients.
Yeah.
Also, plant mass, like you mentioned, the more plants you have, the better it will combat that algae.
Yep. So Zinni's having a bad night. Cats unplugged my goldfish filter, and I hadn't noticed them gulping at the
Oh
top of the
no.
tank. I'd have lost my Pandagara. They were at the bottom, gasping and pale. Cats are the worst. That's rough. But so that's a good point though. If your tank is in an area where your pets can get to, that was one of the things that I had to do when we got a dog is I had to make sure he couldn't get behind the tank until I could train him not to,
Mhm.
because there's plenty of stuff in that cabinet that I don't need him chewing on,
Yeah.
especially hoses to a canister filter. That just seems like a bad idea. But yeah, you want to consider things like that too. Uh,
Yeah, Zinni,
happened
I
this
hope
morning.
those fish start doing better. I hate that happen. It's always
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, those nighttime splashes will scare anybody. There's been times I've jumped up and been like, "Was I dreaming about water running, or is there water running?"
I have my with all the tanks in my bedroom, I've got the normal, call it
Yeah,
water noises, and then
yeah,
sometimes I wake up, I hear something weird, and I look, and it's just a fish that's popping up at the surface. I'm like, I was trying to sleep, man. You really got to do
yeah,
that to me. You got to make me think there's a whole pool of water in my floor.
yeah, yeah. So that was it for me. That was all the things that I had. I don't know if anybody else or if you had anything to add to considering where you're going to put an aquarium. Think about it first though before you
Yeah.
set one up.
On to add something else to the considering where you put it in concern to how you can view the tank.
Hmm.
Think about this is not necessarily, a little bit of a different vein, but think about how you scape the tank, what the tank looks like from where your viewpoint is. A lot of times when I set up a tank, I'll go and sit in the spot that I'm going to look at it most and try in a way to cater the hardscape and planting to where I can really get a good view from that one spot.
Hmm. Yep. Oh, Nancy B's got a great one.
Yes,
Where's your water source and how are you changing your water? Yep.
that is
That was, go ahead.
that is that is fantastic. The more work you have to do on a tank, the less you're gonna like keeping it. So the
Hmm.
easier I started out doing 5 gallon buckets, and that was not fun on larger tanks. So I eventually got a off-brand Python, and I was like, wow, I love water changes.
I don't know about that. My my here's the problem I keep running into with my Python. It doesn't fit any of my faucets, so I have the universal, and it's
ah,
got that really rigid rubber. It's not rigid; it is rubber, but it is once it's on there, it's like really on there. It takes a lot of effort not to break the faucet trying to take it off. And so yeah, that makes me still not enjoy water changes. I would love to come up with another way, and I have tried to do it without tightening it so much. And I've had it spray the bathroom and
yeah,
stuff. And it's like, okay, well, they can't do that. Um, and I have shopped trying to figure out what faucet to get that would allow me to use the regular adapter that comes with it, and no luck for me. But yeah, have
the
you
nano.
considered buying a new faucet? I have. We bought a new faucet. Here's the story with that. We bought a new faucet, and I was like, oh well, I'll make sure we get a faucet that'll work with the adapter that I have that I already had. The brass adapter that comes with it. And I bought one online and it didn't work. So I sent it back and I went to the store and I took it with me and I mashed it up and I got it home and it didn't work. Um, and in the process, my wife found a faucet she loved, and so we ended up with it. And guess what? It didn't work. Um,
The nano
but yeah, I
aquarium
did try
guy
it.
The Nano Aquarium guy is asking Mitch Tanner, have you ever set up a tank and then think that was probably not a good idea because of where you put it? Yes, I have. I've had tanks on kitchen counters.
Yeah,
That was not a good idea because I lost cooking space. I've put tanks where they're just in the way and I don't have room. That brings up another topic is maintenance. Put a tank in an area where you can easily, get into the tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, yes.
Yeah. Um, the only one was the kitchen. I had the 10-gallon set up in the kitchen once for quarantine. I had a sick fish. It was a molly, and it was my kid's favorite. So we were trying our best. She got dropsy, but we were trying our best to save her. And that tank was a pain, absolutely a pain being there. But I've never had one that was like a permanent tank that I didn't like where I put it. Chat jumped on me. I saw something I was going to. As in Ginger was asking me a question. Um, Need to run tests. What's keep keeping talking about? That must not be what we're talking about. Um, it was you. So wait, you took the Python connector to Lowe's, yes, and it didn't fit any of the faucets. So what I tried to do was to get the adapter that I needed to go to the adapter to the faucet, and that adapter was in packaging. And I should have just opened it there and tried it, and I didn't. I took it home. I thought, oh, this fits. It fits. Um, it didn't. It didn't work. But yeah, it was Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't remember which one, but yeah, wherever. Um, I didn't think about the TV when I set up the tank. Fish have a really good view. I put a curtain on part of the tank to give them respite when it's on. Yeah, that's that is a good point. Your fish do like when it gets dark, and if you've got them right next to a TV, they're getting a little extra light. Yeah. Oh, Amisa, make sure you have room above the tank. That's a good point.
Yes.
I've been planning, the possibility of building the 20 rack, and I want to make sure there's room in between those tanks. Um, Bill says I have 5 tanks that don't get water changes at all, and when I get done, I will have only one tank that gets a water change. Heavily planted tanks. Nice.
Yeah.
Um, Nancy B says I have 2 3-gallon shrimp bowls that have been temporarily on my kitchen counter for over a year. Yeah, I have a couple of those that I'm excited to set up, but I will not be putting them in my kitchen. I don't
I've
have
had
enough countertop space. I don't have enough countertop space as it is.
I've done the kitchen counter route before, and I eventually lost out on too much cooking space.
Exactly. I gotta have space. I'm all the time complaining about not having space when I'm fixing something. All right, it is 10:04. I don't know if Eric's going live tonight or not, but it's been a long week already. I'm tired and yawning, and I've been fighting it. And I got a video that I should edit, but I should go to bed. I don't know. What should I do? Comment below because we are gone. We'll see you later. Thank you to
Thank
all
you
of the
all.
mods. Yeah, thank you for everyone in the chat. It's been great. And also thank you to the mods who are here for all of your hard work, adding the links and taking out the trash when it
Yeah.
shows up. I don't think there was any.
We've
Um,
never had that problem.
we've never had that problem. We got to quit saying that. It's
You're
gonna
gonna jinx
show up.
us. We're gonna
Yeah,
get bombarded at one
yeah.
point.
Well, thank you all for coming. We hope you enjoy your tanks.
Mhm.
Don't forget to like,